Hello, so I'm Nico, and I'm gonna talk about the pieces of art and books that I appreciate. I wish I could talk about more pieces of art, but I don't have enough time, so I'm gonna try to make the most of it and talk about uh, my special ones at least, and with the 40 seconds I have available for each of them. So first I have Le Desesperé by Gustave Coubert, which was a French artist, part of the movement called realism that came after romanticism. So here you can see it's an auto portrait of the artist, and he's very desperate and he's showing feelings, and he has all this expression of terror that you can feel when you see it. And that was very unusual for painters that came before him, because in romanticism they were trying to make very epic poses and artificial poses, and he came and tried to do very different with this and many other of his paintings. Next, I have Las Dos Fridas, that means the two Fridas, and it's a painting by Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, and it's a painting that she did after she divorced from her ex-husband that had cheated on her with her stepsister. So she was trying to find herself after she lost it. And in this moment, she could see two versions of herself. The version that was the one that pleased him and was with him, and the version that was just her. And she was trying to convey this in the painting, and that you can see completely that she was heartbroken and trying to do something to find who is the real Frida. The next one is L'amore, la morte e Sogno, inspired by the Baroque art period and Caravaggio, by the contemporary artist Roberto Ferri. He's an Italian artist from nowadays, and I like how he did, like, the two people in the middle are in love, the two in the sides are sleeping, and the ones that are on the ends are dead. And I like how it shows about different phases of humans and how we are always between these three things in our lives. It's like the core of our emotions, and I like how he does it very beautifully. Next one is The Jester, called Stanczyk, by painting Jan Matejko from Poland. And Stanczyk was a very important painting, very important figure from the Polish court. He really existed. And usually Matejko's paintings were very colorful, bright, and full of scenes that showed moments of history in Polish history. This one, you see it dark at first, but then you notice that there are many people in the background, and so many details on the painting talks about how is it to live and to know about things that are happening and not being able to tell other people about it. The next one is also a jester. It's also a clown. And it's about one of the most famous American painters, which is Edward Hopper. He's very famous for his painting Nighthawk, and he was also someone that usually used a lot of dark and light in his paintings. And this one's very bright, but you can see that there's a clown in the middle of the room while everyone's around, so it passes this feeling of being in the middle of society, having people around you, but at the same time feeling alone. The name of this painting is Soir, Bleu, which is inspired by one of Rimbaud's poems that talks about the Soir Bleu d'été, which are blue evenings that you see in your life. The next one, it's my favorite painting by Van Gogh. It's a skeleton with a skull, but it's an auto-portrait of Van Gogh. I really believe that it goes beyond just showing his ability, knowing anatomy, and expressing what his art style was turning into. But I really like that he also brought something that was part of the art movements that came before him and talked about memento mori, which is remember that you're gonna die. And this is a very recurrent theme, especially in Dutch paintings, that it's also gonna appear with a Dutch painter that is coming next. And this painter is called Michiel Sweerts, and it's following the same path that religious paintings had in the 17th, 18th century. And I like it that he's playing with this theme. He's not putting it in a dark way, but he's looking at the skull and saying, I don't fear you. He's literally with his finger in the nose, in the hole that represents the nose of the skull. And I think that that is actually something very humbling and tries to teach you how to live your life better and enjoy better your time that you have on earth with people around you, and not think you're better than others, because eventually we're all gonna die. The next one is a book called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, which is by a mortician called Caitlyn Doughty, and she has worked in the funerary industry. And not only that, but she has studied at university, so she knows the history behind everything we do when someone is mourning the death of someone they like, how it happens in different cultures, in Western society, and how we all see it. And exactly the other thing I was trying to talk about in all the other paintings, how we should not fear it. We just should try to take the best from life and try to enjoy it. The next book is Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. Even though I really like all of James Joyce's books, this one is like my favorite, I believe, because, no, it's actually Ulysses, but I really like Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man because it teaches you how to read books, especially his books, which are very, very complicated for a reader that is not accustomed to this kind of literary work, classical work. So he teaches you, because he starts the book writing like a child would, or as simple as someone can, but eventually with the chapters he develops his writing style and teaches you how to connect things from the beginning to the end. And that's it. These are the artworks I love. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I could talk about them enough to interest you, and thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.